It's time.
We are back, and it's great. It's glorious. Might be a little delayed or fraggy. We'll be all right. You'll be all right. But hey, rock chalk. Rock chalk, baby. Till I die.
Kansas is a basketball school.
How about those Jayhawks?
How about them Jayhawks?
Just riding them.
Hey.
And they get Duke this week. Early season basketball match. Oh, wait.
Wait.
Final
we
four
are
matchup, potentially?
We are in week 4 of
Yeah.
college football.
College football.
And we got a huge basketball matchup. It's pretty impressive, if I don't say so myself.
I mean, the undefeated basketball juggernauts.
Pretty impressive, right? All right. Well, we'll start off with a little a rehash of the weekend. Change it from recap, just because I'm bored of it.
That's fair.
Then we'll get into President's Cup. It's important. It's a big thing this week in golf. Won't be close, but it's important because it's the biggest golf event there is.
Because America.
This week. Because Merca. Then we'll dive into a little college football, NFL football. And then we'll do our big parlay because we didn't last week, and it would have gotten absolutely murdered.
Yeah, it would have.
By the way,
it would have been done by
Game
11:30.
Yeah, exactly. That's if we didn't mess up on Thursday, which I don't think we would have. So here we go. Who wants to lead off?
Let's start the maybe least touted game of the week. We'll go Texas Tech versus NC State.
Ryan's Wolfpack.
The Wolfpack, baby. ACC champs. Speaking it into existence.
You have to. I mean, you just have to.
Beat Texas Tech 24-17, I believe.
No,
No,
you had them covering, so
it was bigger than that.
Yeah, no.
27-14. I missed the 4 and the 7 up
Tech
there.
had a touchdown. They probably got robbed on.
Yeah.
Hey, it's okay. That hit. The one thing that didn't hit that you guys both hit was the over. Or the under hit. So I had the over in that game. Thinking maybe both teams would score quite a bit.
That's a funny joke.
But not. So realistically, the game kind of went how we thought.
Yeah.
I mean, 10.5 is a hook line or one of those catch lines where it's right at a field goal and a touchdown for you that don't know this. Right at a field goal and a touchdown. So when you get that half point on a weird number like 10.5, more often than not, you're going to take a team to lose by 10 rather than more than that. So that's
unless you're confident they're going to win by 2 scores.
And
which
we just
were.
NC State just wasn't. It didn't show that much. Texas Tech. I mean, it was just, to me, it was going to be close.
Yeah.
So that's
And
the only
honestly,
reason.
27-14.
It's not like yeah.
I mean, that's
They
still
didn't run away with
close.
it.
Like,
Right.
yeah, 100%.
Texas Tech
I'm
probably missed
sure
a
that
field
Texas Tech missed a field goal as time expired to cover the spread.
goal. You know, I'm gonna Google that. I'm gonna look that up right now.
Next game, we'll jump up to, at that time, number 25 Oregon versus number 12 BYU at home. Those guys have jumped a lot in the rankings. BYU is now 19th, and Oregon is now back into the top 15.
Yep.
Oregon now is like this is the Oregon team that we expected to see. Did we expect to see Oregon lose 49-3? No. But we didn't expect them to really compete with Georgia anyways. No. But 46 points, we expected better out of that.
This was they were the better athletes. Skill, play call. I don't know what else to say. But that's probably what the Oregon everyone was talking about.
This is the problem overall. Like, not even this game. I didn't watch a snap of this game. I really ultimately didn't care who won. I just, from what I knew, I expected BYU to be just a little more have a little more defensive fight in them. But like, with the playoff going to 16 teams or 12 teams, eventually probably 16, maybe even more.
What do you know? You have insider information.
I know.
Said 16 right away. I mean,
16.
what's going on?
Well, in my head it was 16, but they got it down to 12. But like, these teams are pretenders.
Yeah.
And they're on the fringe, like both of those. But BYU, the reason I say that is BYU's ranked 12th going into that. And it's like these teams are going to get mopped. And like that's the other side of the coin is like, yes, you want as many teams involved as possible. But
mopped by who, though?
Alabama, the top four.
The top four?
Yeah. I mean, is Oregon competing with whoever's rated number? I don't even know who's four right now. Third or fourth, like
Georgia, Bama, Ohio State.
Yeah, I got the three.
No, like Oregon's not competing with any of those teams.
Michigan, I think, is still there.
Clemson?
For that matter, or Clemson. No, like their offense can't do anything against those teams. Right. And so, like,
hey, you're not wrong.
Even though I would be proponent of 12-team playoff, this is the other side of that coin. Is just that these teams simply can't cut it against the elite defenses that also can play a little bit of offense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have Oregon realistically, and you can say it's just based off of rankings too, but I don't know that I have them beating anybody at least to the top 9.
Right.
Arkansas has been playing good.
We're going to find out this week.
We're going to find out this weekend. So I'm like, okay, is Arkansas that, or will we find out? But Oregon's not going to beat Clemson, Oklahoma, USC, Kentucky, Oklahoma State, Arkansas. Like, I don't see them beating those guys. So, like you said, they are that pretender. Are they that bubble team? Yeah, probably.
Right.
Can you say that about USC? Not enough.
You can't say. I mean, to me, about the Pac-12, the most impressive team in the Pac-12 so far is Washington.
100%.
And that was simply because they came out and smacked Michigan State around.
Man, did they ever.
Like, just owned them up and down the field. Dominated the game, offense, defense. Like,
it was.
I mean, Michigan State showed a little life with some offense to keep the game what I would call, like, reasonable, but only
by score.
They just didn't lose 35-3. You know, they got to 17 or 21 or whatever the heck it was. But
watching that, it felt like it was 72-0. Like, it was not close.
Right.
Michigan State had zero chance.
Game was never in doubt.
No. Not even a little bit. No momentum change, nothing.
Surprised the hell out of me.
That was crazy. Clearly Vegas knew something.
Does that surprise you more than?
Also, I didn't realize that Indiana's quarterback, Penix had transferred to Washington. Bad research. My research department did not get in the ear last week.
No.
And be like, hey, they got a really good quarterback. And they're playing at home, and Michigan State's overrated as hell.
Yeah. Like, nothing brought that up. No. So our apologies on that one. We did not do well there.
Hard fade.
But it's all right.
But is that more surprising to you than Kansas winning by 18?
That's more surprising to me than Kansas winning just in general. Because like
they don't win, but they have been
since. Well, so like was it 07 they went to the Orange Bowl under Mangini, the big guy,
Eric Mangini.
Yeah, and they had. So, like, they were good for, like, maybe it was, like, 05, 07. It was, like, either into high school or beginning of college for me. And it was so weird to
Mark
see.
Mangino.
Mark Mangino, that's right. The big Mangino.
2008, they went to the Orange Bowl, yep.
So 2007.
Right.
No, 2007
into 2008.
Yeah, 2007 Orange Bowl. They went to the Insight Bowl in 2008.
Right. So, I mean, we're talking 15 years ago, but they literally haven't been relevant since. So it's just, and even then, like, you didn't ever really believe. But they have, I mean, they've had some decent guys go through, decent pros go through but yeah, I'm just not going. I mean, I firmly believe Kansas is better than Kansas State. That's a very easy statement I can make, and that has not been the case in at least 10 years.
Yeah.
So I don't know what their record against each other is over that time, but I can't imagine that. I
mean, I would like to see a lot of those series where Kansas plays some team and seeing that they're 3-14 against this team or 30-70 against Kansas State, whatever it might be.
Texas last year, so maybe that's what's catapulted them into this season.
Yeah, come on.
So they're riding the wave.
So yeah, Oregon again sparked that conversation. The Pac-12 sparked that conversation, but Oregon beating BYU handily, with favored as the lower ranked team. And then jump up to our game of the week, number 13 Miami against number 24 A&M. A&M is who we thought was going to be a really good school, ranked 6th.
We as in
the nation, the
Okay,
coaches
okay.
polls to start.
Steve.
For sure, but
Yeah.
like the coaches polls right away
just
had
wanna
him
make
ranked
sure.
6th in the country. Ended up being 24 by week 3.
Also, we thought Texas A&M would beat Marshall.
Also,
Or not
we-
Marshall.
Appalachian State.
It don't matter.
Excuse
You
me.
could say more. I don't care
Right,
who you
yeah,
call
they're
in
all-
there. Like those,
right,
yes,
exactly.
Yeah, agreed.
So,
yeah,
like,
yeah. But we did not think that they would survive the season.
if they had done their job up to this point and then done this,
They'd be
to
in the top 10.
done this to Miami,
It'd be
they'd-
top 10.
top 10 team.
Yeah.
Not even like somehow they're still ranked after losing to Appalachian State.
They shouldn't be.
So
Disgrace.
great.
Miami just couldn't score.
What's worse, them losing to Appalachian State being in the top 10, or then you had Oregon dropping completely out, getting mollywopped.
It's
by-
always worse
it's like
to lose to a team that is coming to your place. Like at no point was Oregon mocking Georgia or Georgia mocking Oregon coming
Right.
across the country.
Texas
A&M
A&M knew.
was mocking Appalachian State coming to their stadium and then paid them $1.5 million to leave
to
with a victory.
with a dub.
So
Here's a
like that's
dub
just
and
not
1.5.
even like that's why that's not comparable. It
Yeah.
has nothing to do with really the
reason-
results. It's just more of like big brother, little brother.
Also,
type
the
thing.
reason they stay in the top 25 is because they're SEC team.
Right.
It's A&M.
And they'll win
That's
games
why.
like this.
and
that
they'll and here
justifies.
I still think they lose 2 more in the SEC. but
I am.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I guess
They have no offense,
correct.
there's teams that dropped quite a bit.
which I don't understand how they have no offense.
There's teams that dropped quite a bit, but them.
But that's why I took the under in that game. I didn't think either team scored, and neither
I
team.
thought Miami could, but
So Oregon jumped up 12 spots, beating BYU, who was ranked 12th at that point. A&M went up 2 spots, beating 13th ranked Miami.
Yeah,
It's just weird how
well,
they're
it's because Miami catapulted because of a lot of people dropping down. So did BYU.
That's true.
And I think that's why they said, well, okay, what is Miami's true spot if A&M and all those teams didn't get upset by?
But it's a difference in loss.
Yeah.
Your loss is Georgia.
Yeah,
People are seeing the juggernaut.
Oh, 100%.
Georgia is number 1, and it's
clear cut.
there's not a close second right now. Now, Saban coach teams
Get better throughout the season.
Like
Yep,
that,
yep, yep,
everybody
yep, yep.
sees Alabama is significantly weaker than Georgia. Likely not that true.
Not this big of a gap
Not
right now.
as big a gap as what the country would see.
This would
right now.
be
But Oregon loses to Georgia. Their only loss. Texas A&M only loss is the aforementioned
App State, baby.
App State. So,
That's right.
Looking at it, we kind of argued
which
a
did
little
you see
bit
how they
up
won
front.
this week? Sorry, continue.
App State against Troy.
Yeah, do we have that Hail Mary?
The walk-off Hail Mary
That was
with the quarterback
almost batted down
helping
and then
the
caught.
fans storm the
Yeah,
field.
that's awesome. Chase Bryce.
down.
Chase Bryce is his name.
Yeah.
But what I do like about the AP poll this week is, as much as we've talked about the shakeups in week 1, week 2, week 3, this is what makes week 4 better in my eyes for us picking games. Is now we
Conference
kind of
time,
know
baby.
it's conference time and we kind of know what the teams are a little bit.
You hope.
Well, you
But
don't.
I would-
It's conference season.
Right.
But if you go,
You don't know
if you
shit
go
except
1 to
for
9,
Maction.
1 to
A lot
9,
of
1 to 7,
I
1
think
to 8.
you know who's bad.
You know who's bad.
I think
You don't know, and you know who's the greatest.
right.
You just don't know who's good.
The middling is always going to middle.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why they're there.
Absolutely, it's gonna be great. But I have a shitty shot.
Yes.
However, 22 is my lucky number, so this is gonna be my high school. number.
22.22.
Okay.
Wow, that's a lot of
double
twos.
deuces, baby.
You want to run us through our best bets down there?
Lemon
Yeah,
lime.
best bets.
Put
That
it
sounds
in
good, actually.
tequila.
If we can't
Best
add
bets.
any more to the amazing
is
tequila
that
drink. My gum.
Oh,
It's flavor
Do
saver.
you want me to stick it under the table?
Little flavor saver.
oh, I just like
Well, it's hard.
That's like
it's
the-
not
isn't it-
smart to try to talk and chew gum
No.
or have gum in your mouth.
or just talk and be you.
general.
That's the
That's fine.
I can, then I just start slobbering on
that's
mic.
the
the
that's the 8-year-old flavor saver rather than the soul
Anyway.
patch. that-
Run. Do
It's
like
So
that.
our money
It's a
line locks.
julep. It's got mint in it now. A mint dew tequila.
So everybody hit their money line lock this week.
Mm-hmm.
Vandy was a little bit of a dog, plus 115 for Stoy.
Oh.
I took Penn State to beat Auburn, 156, minus 156, and Cole had Florida State winning, 142. Zamboni.
That seems like something Steve would have tried to do.
I'll be back.
So that was good. Next, spread lock. Stoy, the only one to hit with Oklahoma crushing Nebraska. That rivalry, well, quote unquote rivalry rekindled.
Absolutely dominated.
Oklahoma, I mean, Dylan Gabriel looks good.
Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma looked good.
Oklahoma-
Nebraska's bad, though.
Yeah, but Oklahoma is the first team or one of the first teams to win their first 3 games by 30 points or more in college football history. I took Michigan State, who we had already talked about them getting slapped in the face by Washington, now dropping out of the top 25, Michigan State. And then
The
you had
old
Purdue.
15-spot drop.
You had Purdue minus 1.5 and essentially a pick'em game, and they lost
on a touchdown to end the game.
Yeah.
Wow.
So very close to winning that, obviously.
The refs lost them that game. I was watching that game very intently.
Really?
At Big Grove Brewery. Shout out. Awesome place. Hit it up if you haven't.
We got a slow down her. What game?
The
Purdue
game when Syracuse won on a touchdown with no time left.
Yeah, that's not ideal, right?
Yeah, after a phantom 15-yard penalty.
Over under locks. Stoy's 67, which if Stoy sees a number above 65, he's probably going to look at it for an under. But here, Akron versus Tennessee, under 67 he took. They ended up with 69. I took the Kansas State Tulane game.
It smells fantastic, by the way.
Oh, yeah. It's real nice. It's lovely.
I'm going to take it before I drop it everywhere.
There you go.
I took Kansas State Tulane, ended up 17-10, so that under hit. And then you took Cal Notre Dame. That ended up at 41 or 42.
42, I think.
Yeah. So, again, another heartbreaking, very close pick for Cole there. D-Gen picks.
I mean, that's
plus 285.
Vegas always wins.
Stoy.
Rock chalk.
Stoy taking the Jayhawks.
Excuse me, 41. 24-17.
Yeah. Taking the Jayhawks, plus 285. That one hit.
Chalk.
Vegas always knows.
I took Florida Atlantic, who got beat up a little bit by UCF. And then you had, who did Georgia Southern play? They got beat. They were plus 365, so they were big dogs. But
So the reason I was so upset about
They
the
were,
Akron,
but
Tennessee,
they just beat Nebraska, you know.
Yeah.
So
Akron, Tennessee is because I bet on these bets and I would have had all 4 and it was like plus like 9 something, 1,000 or something. I'd have won $100. It's
with all 4 of these?
Yeah.
Only?
Yeah.
I feel like it should have been bigger than that.
I don't think it was.
With Kansas at plus 285?
Yeah, I don't think it was. I don't remember.
And did you bet the spreads too?
No.
Or just the teams?
No, the spread's right here. I bet that right
Bet
there.
that?
I was so mad because Akron had a blocked field goal, missed field goal, went for it on like 4th and 2 from the 2, got stuffed. If they score any of those, it just doesn't go over.
Right.
But here we are.
Tough pumpkins.
Here we are.
all right, so there's our college football recap.
We're cap at cap.
Did you see the Notre Dame offensive coordinator
Yeah.
phone
Getting
call
in
to
the
the
quarterback?
quarterback on the sideline?
Have you ever been in a conversation like that? On the sideline?
I feel like you've had conversations of like, hey, we need to get our shit together. But this guy said,
There's F-bombs
your
involved.
whole effing team is counting on you. Get your effing shit together. And then there was something else. And they showed him in the box and then
While
the
he on
quarterback
the
on the other
phone.
side. And this was basically just
Is
a
it
call
Buckner?
out of like, literally,
Now.
if
Do or
it
die.
doesn't happen,
You're gone. You're done.
done.
Yeah. It was awesome.
So like just, and I don't know. My guess
It
is
worked.
that like conversation. So we come over to the phone. I don't know what led up to the phone call. So like if he turned the ball over, if
Didn't.
if it-
Yeah, we don't know.
I don't remember.
Wrong
I didn't
play
see
call,
what,
change
like,
of play
what-
call.
whatever
There's
it
so
was.
many. Yeah.
So he comes over. My only assumption is after a drive that didn't end well,
Yeah.
whether it ended in turnover, ended in punt. I don't know. But basically, my guess is that coach said something. Quarterback responded with some type of excuse that somebody didn't do something or there was miscommunication, and coach either has put up with this behavior and was tired of it, which is definitely probably some of it, or like the quarterback consistently makes excuses,
or yeah.
and he's also over it.
Yeah.
And so it was just like
It was time.
it was like parenting mode.
Yep.
Like, nope, time for some accountability. Time for you to step up and do. You've got the starting job at Notre Dame University,
Right.
or University of Notre Dame. Like, you are the Fighting Irish starting quarterback. It's time for you to start acting like it, or it's time for you to put the pads up and get the hell out. Yeah. And that was that conversation. I was just like, oh, okay, this is where we're at. Yeah.
It was awesome.
So
I enjoyed every bit of it.
Drew Pine is he actually
He's about to
jumped
be riding
in.
some pine if he
Tyler Buckner, who was their starter to start the season, got hurt. So Drew Pine gets his first start of the season, throws for a measly 150 yards, 2
They should have
touchdowns,
lost that game.
and 2 touchdowns. But Tommy Reese, he got after it. There's a video.
The video's awesome. It's one of the best things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, more and
if
like that makes sense knowing that he's a backup. In that, like, Buckner's probably not coming back soon. I assume.
From that, it didn't sound
Based
like
upon that video alone.
But from that,
Right. But just
post,
in
it
like,
didn't sound like it.
hey, you're not the backup anymore. Like, just
That's what it
starting to put
was.
it in perspective of like, listen, it's time, buddy. Like,
Put
up or shut up.
Put
Like,
your big boy pants
yeah,
on.
let's go.
Let's go.
So
NFL.
this says, I saw that video, Coach Reese. I texted him this Sunday and I said, I want you to be very hard on me. Payne said after the game, that's the standard he holds me to, and that's what I asked for, and I respond well to hard coaching.
That's fair.
I mean, that was a little more than hard coach. That was a.
But
I
probably
mean,
agree.
that
It
was
was like-
hard coaching on top of a reason.
There was a
for
reason.
There
There was-
was a necessary conversation.
Coach
at that
was
point.
triggered about something.
Yeah.
Yep.
We've seen it. I've been on the headset before when we were injured.
I feel like
and
I've been on both sides of those conversations.
multiple times, but when they do it over the headset, it's
Yeah.
it's something. You do nothing but laugh internally because you don't want to. You can't see. You can't show it. Oh man,
You do nothing but listen.
I've
As soon as you start to talk again, it's just
Lord.
like that's a trigger for like. It's like no. That guy's talking right now.
Yeah, I would say the coach's name, but he is currently coaching in DC for a school, so I'm not going to put him out there.
That's
But
fair.
let's just say he called something. I'm injured in our 5th year, tore my Achilles. It was great on the headset, and he calls it, and then the DB's coach at that time. Okay, we were not in our base package. No, we were in our base package. He called a nickel call.
Yep.
Okay, Saints was the call he called, but Sync is the actual call. And so he calls Saints, and I'm sitting next to him, like yelling at the team, going, "No, it's Sync. You should probably. This is against Grandview.
Right.
Please run. Please, for the love of God, run Sync." And the difference at that point was for Moorhead to either drop or rush. Essentially, let's
Right.
just put it that simply.
Yeah,
that part.
They
They ran a swing route with the running back,
and he rushed.
and he rushed.
Nobody had the running
No
back.
one left because clearly the wrong call.
Yeah.
And the amount of words that came out of Coach happened so fast and so loud that the other team after the game heard it from the other press box, other side of it.
Yeah, love it.
And I was just like, just laughing internally. It was one of those things that's just hilarious. It happens. It happens. All right, NFL.
Miss Com.
Did you know if Ryan would have picked all of his over-unders, he would have made pretty good money.
Yeah.
But he didn't. You
I
hit them
did
all,
not.
though.
I did.
Congrats.
Even the game that we took out, I hit that one. I just took
Did
it
you
out.
really?
Yeah.
Good for
Even
you.
the one we didn't
Good
talk
for
about.
you.
I hit.
But Cole has 2 shitty shots, but we'll get to that later. Thursday Night Football.
How can you
Chargers,
be
Chiefs.
So bad.
Jeez, you are. Anyways, Chargers Chiefs, huh? How about it?
I mean, lock it up.
So DraftKings has this new early win specifically on Thursday night, but they do it for all the games. Early win, 7 points. Your team goes up by 7 during the game. On money line, they pay you out immediately.
No.
They also have it for every game on the weekend, but it's a 10-point.
Right.
So clearly Chargers go up big. I call big in the NFL,
Yeah.
10-plus points.
Mm-hmm.
So it hits, and then late in the game, Kansas City gets in, it hits. Before the game's over, and no matter who you bet on, you would have won that
You would have won.
early win.
Right.
First time. Now it's only been 2 weeks since they've done it, but it was pretty cool. Pretty cool little setup there. But
Everybody's a winner.
It was to me. It started off as a normal Thursday night game of just pure not fun football, and then it ramped up, and you saw why these are two of the top 5 quarterbacks, arguably, top 10 for sure.
Yeah,
but top 5. It was really fun to watch, and Herbert with what'd they call his injury? It's not broken ribs. It's like the cartilage is torn between the ribs,
which is worse.
Which is worse because it will linger longer.
Correct.
And you can't pat it. It's just like
there's nothing
to do.
Not a bone healing. It's
you
kind of
move,
like
it hurts.
the high ankle sprain type of injury, anything like that. There's not necessarily anything you can do to rehab it.
The issue is
Just
he's
rest.
a quarterback.
Correct.
And they said that like breathing, stretching, twisting, and throwing were the top 4 of the 5 things you shouldn't do. Do quarterbacks do those?
I mean,
often?
Did you see him on the 3rd down play on the last drive? He literally got out of the pocket and stopped running and basically took the football like he was the most disgusted human being in the world and like shoved it away from his body because he was so mad and hurt.
By the way, he could have got the first down running
easily
if he wasn't hurt.
He couldn't move any like
he
in his
do it.
mind. He was just in complete F it. This is the worst pain in the world. I can't run. I can't throw. And just like shoved the ball out of bounds.
Yeah.
Like barely made it out of bounds. And then on 4th down, throws a dime 35 yards down the
dime
field
of dimes.
It
doesn't matter. That ball was a dime. But, hey, played well.
Right.
Herbert. Played well. And then you got, Patty Mahomes doing Mahomes stuff.
Yeah.
End it. I thought overall really good game. It just started very Thursday night-ish to me.
No,
and we nailed it, minus the reason I went with KC on the spread was because of, we had too many people in a row. We weren't
also,
good
if they
college.
wouldn't have scored, they had to, an injured quarterback had to get 3/4 downs
Also
on the
that.
final drive to cover the spread.
So
like,
also that.
Also
that.
That shouldn't have been in the game.
Shouldn't have been in the game. No.
So,
yeah.
A lot of people were happy, though,
anything
because
else
he did. No, I don't have anything else on that game. I mean,
it was a fun one.
Yeah.
Then Falcons Rams. We almost came back from 28-3, boys.
28-3.
Demons were almost released, and then
They weren't.
And
then it hit Goons.
And then
Goonlock.
We goonlocked it. Hey,
way to go!
As a Falcons fan, they are competing, and they're competing to the end, and then the young guys are making plays.
Yeah.
All I can ask for this year.
Yeah.
People want Ritter in now. I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't know how he's practicing or any of that either. So
You just don't have any reason to put him in.
If you don't score 27 points against the Falcons, you're not going to win.
right, exactly. And they're stopping people. They're getting sacks. They're scoring points. You can't put him in at this point.
Yeah.
Now, does Mariota have the closer mentality? He doesn't.
He can close the gap.
He can close the gap.
Just not
he
the
can get
game.
you. He can get you to where you should win the game.
And then that's when Ritter needs
And
to
that's
come
when
in?
Ritter needs to come.
Oh, okay. You need Fitz magic.
Yeah, you need Fitzmagic right there just to end the game.
Right.
And we might be 2-0.
Yeah.
Arguably could be 2-0. We aren't. And now we're in line for the number 1 pick. And I am okay with both of those scenarios.
Right. Competitive
losers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, so is what it is.
Something I teach my boys every
But
day.
we goonlocked it, so
Be a
there's that.
competitive loser, buddy.
Now let's get to the boys. Boy, is this a shock.
Redhead backups.
The reason I say that is because Cole
Dallas.
The Red Rocket Jr.
Cooper
giving the
Rush.
Bengals a little taste of their own medicine.
I saw a tweet that they were comparing him to Tom Brady, by the way. Just saying.
Not Andy Dalton.
Not Andy Dalton,
No.
Tom Brady.
So first 2 possessions, the Cowboys Cooper Rush looked like Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And they went down the field. And then neither team did anything the rest of the game. You just started. You needed to poke
Could
that
be because
game
you
with a
sacked.
stick.
You guys sacked Burrow like 6-7 times.
Well,
4 in the first half.
I'm not sure that Cincinnati.
They're
like O-line.
upgraded their O-line.
Yeah.
They went and bought people.
He's on track to get sacked 111 times this year.
Well,
he was
and by
sacked
on
50.
track-
He was sacked 51 times last year.
And by on track, you mean like one of their quarterbacks will be sacked that many times because he's not making it that far.
I don't know. He doesn't take it. I mean, it's not like he gets killed, but he's going to get tired.
We're
of
counting
it.
sacks,
No, I get it.
not hits.
But I mean, part of that's you've got enough weapons on offense that we got to start getting the ball out of the hands quicker. I mean, you got Mixon in the backfield, you got Higgins and Chase on the edges.
Either.
Well, that's the other thing is you got to be more committed to the run, less committed to, and then you've got to be more committed to finding ways to get the ball into your playmakers' hands quickly, because you obviously have a deficiency at offensive line,
glaring,
but you have things that can overcome that. And so my expectation for the Bengals, if they're going to be a consistently competitive and good team, is that their coaching staff realizes that and they start making adjustments.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, because through 2 weeks, 100% has not been done.
No. Dallas, though.
Dallas's defense is good. And ultimately,
always,
it's hard for me to look at it through that lens, because their offense is that's what's ballyhooed. That's what everybody talks about. But ultimately, Dallas's success goes through their defense right now. Micah Parsons is a top 5 defensive player in the NFL right now. He's a destructor, and then they have guys that can athlete on the back end, and they'll give up some big plays every now and then. But they've been better this year they've been beat a couple times, but.
I was just about to ask how, because I didn't watch week 1 of the Cowboys, but I did watch a decent amount of this, and specifically Diggs giving up more yards than any other cornerback in the league. Yeah, was he a ball hawk? Everything like that, 100%.
You're talking about last season, right?
Yeah.
Yes, but this week when he was playing the Bengals, I mean, he played a pretty good game. He's getting pass breakups. He's sticking with receivers. He's not just attacking the ball. He's playing better overall sound defense rather than just going for the ball and the ball goes over his head and somebody gets
And he had one he tried to undercut, which he actually made a really good play on. He just didn't look up in time. But besides that, that's what I would expect from the defense, who was great a year ago, is where can we make, because then at that point you're just making small adjustments. You don't have to do an overhaul. That's when you can really start getting down and dissecting each individual of hey, what can you do better? What can we utilize, this guy in what package, and how can we, make a good defense better? And that's what they've showed so far.
A lot of people talk about how offenses are limited by their quarterback and they can't open up the playbook, right? We hear that all the time. I'm feeling as if Dan Quinn can open up the defensive playbook now, because of that back end, specifically Diggs, maturing, which clearly he's going to do. There's no way that wasn't going to happen, and utilizing his ability, his aggressiveness correctly in spots, which means he can call certain defensive calls that he knows, hey, Diggs isn't going to bite. He's not going to do this.
Right.
He's gonna stay home. So I think that's only going to help.
But he can do that because he's on a good defense. I feel is it Terrell on the Falcons?
Yeah.
Very good corner. I feel like he's the exact opposite. You're going to see some regression out of him this year, and
you already have. You already have.
Right, and it's not because
statistically you already have. Sorry,
right.
My bad.
There any the skill set level on either one has really gone one. It's the defense. It's the guys that they play around.
Correct.
So when you get a really good defense, your great players can be greater, and when you get a really bad defense, then
they regress.
Really magnified when your good player does bad.
Correct.
Where's Logan Ryan at right now? I can't remember. He's been a great safety, great defensive back. Now you haven't heard of him for a while. Now is he older? But
But even Barr, who came from your Vikings, is the Cowboys' defense makes him look not as old and washed up as what the Vikings did.
And he didn't even look that bad with the Vikings.
No,
it was
but
just you had Kendricks and you had guys around him that were better athletes overall.
Right.
But in Diggs on that play of the 4th down slant, Chase runs, Diggs' hands in there, makes that play. The ball goes over his hand by an inch and a half.
Well,
it wasn't that he
great catch. I mean, he's got a hold of
100%.
Chase. That's just an elite
and
catch.
It wasn't like Diggs made a bad play. He didn't get beat
No.
Whereas
Right
maybe sometimes last year he gets a little bit over aggressive because Chase jumps off the ball rather than runs a slant there, whatever it might be. But he made every part of that play was good on both ends. Really great catch, but also great play.
Yeah, I mean, disappointing offense considering how we started. I mean, we scored 20 points in the game, but we got Pollard involved, had a huge game, had over 100 yards rushing, receiving. Him and Zeke just have to be on the field.
He didn't. He had 98, but that's fine.
That's fair. He lost to.
I know because he's on my damn fantasy
he
team.
lost 2 when he took a knee. But Zeke running hard. I like what I'm seeing out of Zeke. I think we need to be more consistent in how we use those guys.
How many rushes do you think you had
total? 25.
If you take out Cooper's, because you never count quarterbacks.
Rushes.
26.
Yeah, and they need to be at least 25 to 30. And
Elliott had 15. Pollard had 9, and then you had Turpin and Lamb doing.
Yeah, so you need to. I think Zeke, you don't want more than 20, but I think we can get up closer to 20, and they need to be more dedicated to whatever packages are available, in that you can get Pollard in the slot and take a guy out of the box, because you have to honor that and get Zeke. Because Zeke's running hard. He's running downhill. He looks fresher. He looks lighter. Like
I love the. So, I mean, Zeke had 15 rushes, 2 targets.
Yeah.
Pollard had 9 rushes, 7 targets.
Right.
I love that. Actually, I would love Pollard to have a little more touches, but whatever.
Right.
That's a good mix.
The more that those two are on the field together, the more dangerous we are.
You should see that more often. Kind of like the Pack did.
Brown had a huge week receiving. Gallup's coming back. So the offense is only going to continue.
What did Dalton Schultz do?
4 targets, 2 receptions.
Got dropped from my fantasy team.
18 yards. Okay, not good. All right, boys looking up. Moving on.
Bears Packers kind of. I thought the Bears were going to hang a little bit better, but it was in Lambeau.
That was yes.
Yeah. Like that's where.
But I feel like our spread more like was like, show us Chicago how you are. You played well against the Niners. Yes, it was 4 feet of water, but that was like a show me.
Well,
but I also the Packers.
Huh?
It didn't end up being bad weather, and the anticipation at least was more rain in Lambeau.
And the Packers didn't look good week 1. The Bears looked decent week 1, so I was like, okay, maybe it's closer than it obviously wasn't, but
Aaron Jones, they finally got him involved.
That dude needs to be he needs to get touches.
And to be fair, the over hits, if that stupid ass goal line stand thing doesn't happen, debacle thing. Yeah. Just saying.
Yeah, that was a touchdown.
Putting it out there, that was a touchdown.
Yep.
So I mean, we're good there. The Monday night games were awful.
Yeah, Titans Bills continued to continue on their way to 15.
I mean, I was super pumped because I was down by
now.
No,
I don't know.
I never
taken the under.
I need to look at their schedule.
Anybody?
I'll take it.
You taking that under?
Yeah.
All right.
I was down by 30.
What did we have a shitty shot on this week?
Some money line.
The Bucks.
Yeah,
Bucks
I lost that one too.
Yeah, you did.
Up to 3 now.
No, 2. You had 1 from this.
He missed all of his picks.
No, I missed all of these.
I forgot about that.
Hercules.
Better give me one of those now.
We are spread these out.
So I was okay
Losing
with the Bills.
Shitty shots.
I had
overall standings for the year.
I was down by 30.
Killing it.
I was down by 30 going into Monday night in fantasy with Diggs and Knox, and he had Dalvin Cook. I'm like, okay, there's no way I'm coming back from this until Diggs scored 45.
It's because
himself.
Cook scored 4.
Yeah, I think he ended up with 8 total.
They just weren't good games, truthfully. And we can go back to how Cousins sucks because he did not look good.
He didn't play. He didn't play well.
Everything.
The
Eagles rattled him.
The Eagles
shit out of him.
The Eagles' defensive line looked good. The offensive line for the Vikings didn't. Dalvin Cook needs more touches. I mean, we'll go back to.
We went to that. Let me pull it up because we talked about it.
8 touches total or something like that.
How did it go?
You can't have that with Dalvin Cook. I think he had 6 rushes or 9 rushes for 17 yards or something like that.
He had 10 total touches and
don't
12 targets.
How offensive coordinators, because Dallas does it with Zeke and Pollard. Green Bay did it with Aaron Jones had 8 touches in week 1. He had 18.
They changed it, but
But like,
Why?
how
Isn't that
how
always
do you
normal
get
game plan?
that lost within your offensive game plan that you don't get your best player 15 plus touches?
How many rushing attempts do you think
game.
the Vikings had in that game? Did you watch any of it at all?
No, I didn't. I was watching
Okay.
the other game
But-
because I like watching Josh Allen,
He's pretty good.
and I like.
But
watching
what do you
the
think?
Titans
What do you
suck.
think they had? What do you think they had?
12.
They had 9 total. How? How do you only have 9?
So and this is where Stafford, Rams, O'Connell, they were built more for that. Now, did they have K-Maker? Did they have Henderson? Yes, they had those backs. But the Vikings are literally a run-first team. Should you need to get Cook involved, you
Should
need to
they-
get your run
should
game
they
going.
actually run?
Yes, exactly. And then that opens up. I mean, Thielen not being targeted until late in the like that
Right.
should never happen.
Which Cole
Now,
was super lost. on.
also,
I was talking to a Vikings fan at work when you texted that, or when I saw the
Read it, yeah.
notification. So like, therefore, to me, it had just come in 15 minutes earlier, mid conversation with the Vikings fan, and I'm like, Tyler, did Thielen retire?
You asked him?
Yeah, and he's like, what? So he's like, I gotta go research this. He literally
That's
walked
awesome.
back to his office. So like, we started a rumor.
that's great. That's great.
Oh,
Because he was just,
But
just
also, I mean,
moaning about how bad they were.
you had a
that's awesome.
complete drop by Irv Smith. Again, a walk-in touchdown, 2 walk-in touchdowns that have been dropped in Vikings games. One's versus them, one's against them. So there's a little bit of karma there. But also, this baffles me. Philadelphia could move the ball at will because the Vikings just stayed in a shell zone coverage that all Philadelphia's receivers did was sat down in a zone, and it didn't matter.
Yep.
And then you have Bynum, one of the Vikings safeties. 2 very, very poor plays in my mind. The first one is when he bites on a tight end running an out route, I think, and Quez Watkins gets behind him. There's no way anybody's going to touch him because Harrison Smith is on the other side of the field watching. I think he was on Devontae Smith on another go route. And then the next one is Jalen Hurts. I think it was a 24-yard touchdown run. I can't remember. It was a second one, I believe. If a guy's in the 5 and you stand him up and he's still standing straight up, don't just try and go for the ball. Wrap him up, tackle him, give your defense a chance to stop them within the 5.
I mean, I don't disagree. And listening to, and I again
Well, they
watched very
Yeah.
small parts of this game. The Vikings only gave up 24 points.
They gave
And
up.
it sounded to me like if you would have just let me listen to all the conversation, whether it be from radio, whether it be from you or a couple people at work, like I would have thought that the Vikings lost this game 45-7. Did it feel that bad?
Yes, because
Early.
there was 3 interceptions where the Vikings throw 2 of them in the end zone.
Okay, yeah, that's exactly what we talked about.
So you throw 2 interceptions in the end zone. So feeling wise, it feels like you lose by 100.
Right, but like
Game wise
obviously
and
drove the ball
score,
down to the field,
they did, but it was
but you can't throw interceptions.
it was
But
weird. It was
Cousins
like
in
they
prime
got
time.
it was like they got away from what they were doing on the whole drive once they got into the red zone.
A lot of NFL teams have been struggling
Right,
with that
and it's
identity this year.
weird.
Really, the score.
Even the
should have been-
Bills.
The score. Oh my! I don't even know if I can say that.
I was gonna tweet that last night because the Bills early on before they ended up scoring 41.
Also,
the Bills 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. At one point they were 0 for 6 on 3rd 1, 4th and 1, and still scored 41 points in the game
I think the Vikings either
Not
went
in-
3 and out
Oh,
or
third. And, oh, you said okay.
because they went for it on 3rd down, missed. Went on 4th down and missed. Did it again. Went on for it on 3rd down and missed. And then they ended up kicking on the second one because they got a penalty, but it's like they still didn't get it.
Which is crazy because they opened up 3 for 3 on 3rd downs and finished 4 for 12.
Right.
Nope, sorry, 5 for 13. That's crazy, isn't it?
Well, and a lot of them, that's
They
what
were
I'm saying. They
2
were
for 3 on
3rd
down,
and
though.
short and 4th and short, and it's because they run everything out of the gun.
So this is probably why it felt like it was 45-7 is because Jalen Hurts started the game like 12 for 12, 150 yards,
I saw that
however
stat.
many
You guys,
touchdowns.
there was no points scored in the second half.
Of that whole game?
Whole game.
Okay.
The
glad.
Vikings-
It went. This is how the third quarter, or this is how the rest of the game went. Okay, it went. Pick in the end zone for the Vikes. Blocked field goal, Eagles. Another pick, by the way. Punt, pick for the Eagles. I mean, pick in the end zone again. Punt, end of game.
Jeez.
That's how.
So
I'm glad I didn't.
So this is another thing that we talked about early on in this season. We talked when you get a turnover, blocked field goal, sudden change of possession, as we talked about. Normally you see one of two things. Like if your running game is going really, really well, you run the ball and you're like, okay, I'm crushing this team here. Or you try and take the top off the defense and take a shot. The Vikings, who one of their 10 rushes or whatever it was,
9,
ran a zone for 2 yards after a blocked field goal.
Well, to be fair, you threw a pick before that, so that is why. He threw a pick, then blocked field goal, then you're going to run the ball. You can't trust Cousins.
I'm not going to.
I'm not going to. I'm saying why they did, because Cousins, when he starts getting downhill,
especially in
his second
primetime record is
his
bad.
Second interception that we talked about this earlier. Like, was it a great throw? No, but it was a better play.
They ran. I think they were 2-by, maybe 3-by. No, they were 3-by. No, they were 2-by. We had Thielen in the slot, Jefferson on the outside. He ran a post corner concept on cover 2, and the back came out, or was it a flat? But the corner just made a great play
on the corner route.
On the corner route.
Yeah,
he was backpedaled.
He high pointed the football.
Had to jump 40 inches to get it.
Touchdown if he doesn't catch it.
Not a touchdown.
Not
first
touchdown.
Down. It was right on the sideline. It was a possession.
Gotcha.
I'm going to catch it
20
for
yards,
possession.
25
But like a
yards.
completion if the corner doesn't just make a great play.
100%.
I got you.
Yeah. Safety's not. He'll get there, but he's not.
Right.
It's in that window, but he bailed on it hard and
So Slay's first
late throw.
Slay's first interception was just a bad throw. It was an interception.
It was a cousin.
The second interception that Slay had in the end zone, when he was just kind of throwing the ball up, hoping Jefferson makes a play when they're down 24-7, like that was just kind of okay. Let's throw the ball up. But regardless, the Vikings lost. Get to our bets.
We did not. I fared well because I went 50%, but you guys did not. Money line locks. Colts. I don't know what happened to you. You're terrible. Detroit for Ryan. I like it. And then Pitt for Cole. They were in it. I like it.
I think they're going to make a quarterback change here soon.
I think so too. I would say next.
And Trubisky doesn't look bad, but
I
should say one of two things. They either have to let Trubisky play football,
or
because they have receivers, they have a good running back, and they're conservative.
Yeah,
it's like either let him play or
bring Pickett in,
or put Pickett in,
and do this, and then let him play. By the way,
whatever you're gonna do it. Because that team's way too talented. And they missed Watt, but they lost that game 17-14.
Spread lock, Bucks, easy money. Ryan went with Seattle.
Easy money.
That was.
I watched every snap of that game. That
Cole,
game was
Cole
so
with the
garbage.
Raiders should have been fine. Ended up being
dominated the game,
and then got dominated.
Not even really dominated.
Not dominated. It was just bad.
Stupid too.
Over under Houston Denver. That was one of the easiest unders there was. They weren't scoring. Ryan missed on the Carolina Giants,
which we called that, by the way.
Sure did.
We were we almost took it as our under lock after you left.
And then I would have had a shitty shot.
What is he talking about?
I don't know where you're getting that from. And then Cole with the under, Niners Seahawks, which I thought should have been fine. It didn't.
Well, Garoppolo had to come in.
Yeah, once Garoppolo came in, changed.
The game would have gone under had Garoppolo.
Absolutely.
So,
yep.
Again, I don't as bad as my picks were.
Yeah.
If I go down the list,
can I go back and change because I had the Niners out of the playoffs? Can I go back and change the Niners into the playoffs this year?
I would honestly change it now. 100%. I'm not kidding you.
I think we should do quarterly check-ins,
quarterly bets, update our
I'm
bets.
just saying, every 4 weeks to 6 weeks, every 6 weeks, we should go in and just be like, listen, this is where the game's at.
We're
here on a Tuesday.
D-Gen picks, we all lost. I had Cole and I had Seahawks clearly, and then Ryan had Chicago, which weren't close.
Which DGen pick of the week would have been the Jaguars for those scoring out.
Yeah, for those scoring out. All right, we're going to go on a quick break, and we will be back to talk college football. Welcome, our fireside chat. This one's going to be hot. A couple of topics will be overall trust in a relationship between your planner and yourself.
It's our job to figure out what's in the best interest for you.
We have to start this thing early.
How do I play this game patient enough to see this trade turn to fruition?
Real estate in general can have a lot of tax benefits to you.
Listen and subscribe to the No BS Wealth podcast on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.
It's time